So thank you very much for having me. I just want to tell you a little bit about Flightright, and I want to start basically with the story about my co-founder. His name is Sven. We knew each other since we were young kids, 12, 10 years old. So I'll give you a picture. How does that work? Yeah, that's the two of us. We know each other from sailing, optimist sailing, basically. We were sailing against each other, and then he became my crew, and we did some serious racing, so we were real friends. And a little later, we both had our corporate professional careers, I would say. He was living in Hamburg, and he was working as an environmental consultant, and I was a lawyer. I had my own boutique law firm in Berlin, IP lawyer. We both had our doctoral degrees, and we were 35 years old, and we basically had a quite classical professional career behind us and in front of us. And as a lawyer, I had basically a court hearing in Amsterdam. And I took a low-cost airline called Transavia from Tegel, and I've never experienced a flight delay before, but that morning my flight was cancelled, and I had to run and got a new flight from KLM. And I came too late to my court hearing, which wasn't too much of a problem. But the next day I wanted to go back to Berlin, and I really had to be in Berlin in time because I had a very important meeting in Berlin that day with the priest, because I wanted to get married with my wife in Sicily, and the Catholic Church somehow needs to give you clearance when you do that thing. So my wife, who has no real relation to the church, said, "Please be in time," because I always was late, obviously. And I arrived in Schiphol airport that next day, and there was a big crowd at the Transavia counter, and it said 7 hours delay. So I took my credit card, I ran to the KLM counter, I bought myself a flight on the next KLM flight back home, and I made it. I made it to this appointment 20 minutes late again, but luckily we got that clearance, and we're married now, happily, 10 years now. But that kind of triggered my interest into what rights do you have as an air passenger. And so I looked up the textbook, some tourism law textbook, and it gave me the regulation 261/2004 from the European Union, which is a very interesting, straightforward piece of law, saying if your flight is cancelled or delayed more than 3 hours or denied boarding, you get based on the distance, 250 euros, 400 euros, 600 euros. But so I thought, wow, I've never heard of that. Plus, I thought airlines won't like that. Plus, I thought that there's kind of some loopholes built into that regulation, extraordinary circumstances, which is something like force majeure, open concept. And I thought, little Google research showed that airlines are kind of pushing back all these claims, and I thought, well, personally, I wouldn't sue Transavia cross-border somewhere in Amsterdam, and I believe that no consumer himself would sue an airline like Ryanair, Lufthansa. But I also felt that there are 1 billion flights in the European Union. There must be something that maybe I can do. So I thought about the concept that it has to be online, easy accessible. There should be no risk for consumers, so you just have no risk. You can only win. So no win, no fee model, which hasn't been existing in Germany. And we need to find a lot of claims to make a profit out of this, and we have to use IT to automate this. So this was the idea. I told some people around me, and nobody kind of really understood the idea, and so I was going along with that idea. And then again, I was sailing with Sven here in Berlin, and I told him about this idea, And 2 days later, he called me and he just said, is this just an idea or are we doing it? So, and then I said, yes, we do it. Let's do it. But it was basically, it was a side project. So we said, let's put each 5,000 euros into that idea. I knew some designer friends. And we said, we really need a cool website. We need a cool logo, a nice, maybe I need to skip forward here. Yeah, that was the airplane, the Transavia one. That was the regulation. And that was our first website that we designed, 2010. So basically it took us 6 weeks, 7,000 euros to bring that live, and we were lucky because that was around the time we wanted to build an MVP. We thought, like, what are we doing? We just want to see if we find 100 customers to kind of give us a mandate to pursue their rights against airlines. And we were lucky because we had the ash volcano, and so it didn't took too long. To get these 100 people. But basically, the idea was because it was a side project, we didn't really know. We didn't have the plan to build a company at that moment. We just wanted to see, if that proof of concept worked. So, but we had first clients. Clients were coming in. We didn't want to put much more money into that. So we were using our own resources. So we were founded a legal tech company. So we had myself, which was Mr. Legal, and Sven is an engineer, a business engineer. So we had Mr. Tech, and so basically we thought the two of us, we can do everything, and we found out everything that needed to be done. We didn't pay it ourselves any salary because we had our other businesses. We had our kind of professional infrastructure. I had my law firm, so I had my secretary, so she had to do other things which were not really related to the law firm. And Sven, he had some IT infrastructure stuff, and then we had friends. My sister, she did PR and bug testing and all that stuff. And we were like buying some little features for 200 euros, like Facebook plugin and all that stuff. And we needed an office. So the office was my flat in Berlin Mitte. And it was funny because one day my wife called me and said, somebody is ringing at the door and he's asking about what's going on with his case. And that was kind of the moment when I decided to move our corporate address to Wannsee to my parents' house, because I expected less walk-in clients there. And yes, we founded our company. Form was a GBR, so unlimited liability. But I felt as a lawyer that the risk we were encountering was acceptable. So. And that, and then we just had a website, but kind of we realized that we needed some back-end things. So we found a CRM system, in Indian-based, super cheap, quite strong, but a little bit buggy CRM system, which we ourselves customized quite heavily. Plus, we put in working student requests on HU Blackboard. We had only one application, but she was really good. She was our human back end for a year. So that kind of that mode went on for I think a year. And as you said, we a little bit lost focus. What are we doing? Is this kind of a hobby, or we didn't really know? So. And then more or less like after 10, 12 months, we realized that there is something. We had clients, we believed that we had a proof of concept, that the people like it, but we didn't really knew where it was going. I think we had a turnaround of 3,000 euros in the first year, and maybe we invested 30,000 euros, but we realized that we need a lot of money because we have to fight, you know, huge airlines in court. We need lawyers, we need everything, and it all takes super long until we get some money. So, yeah, we decided to commit to this idea, and we felt that the next logical step could be an angel. And I had a friend, I knew he has some money to invest, and we just built some little pitch deck, and I met in a coffee in Friedrichstraße. I think it took 45 minutes, the meeting, and he committed to give us 100,000 euros. I don't know whether he really understood what we were doing, but he said, yeah, I like the idea. And so we had 100,000 euros, and then we went on, and we felt this 100,000 euros will bring us, like, we were in the 13th, 14th months of that idea, will give us some time to continue and to look for a real investor. And someone said, if you relocate to Brandenburg, you get 1 million. So we said, this sounds like a good idea because I'm living in Potsdam anyways. So we endeavored that idea, and basically, yeah, there was some kind of, the state of Brandenburg gave us EU money, 1 million. It was a loan, so basically they get 15% plus you have to pay 8% interest rate, and you have to pay all the money back, but it was money at risk, so we did that. The bad thing was that they said we already funded 8 companies in Potsdam, you're number 9, you have to go to Hennigsdorf. I don't know if anyone knows Hennigsdorf. I think it's the dark side of Brandenburg. So we went there and still no real revenue, but we got people on board, and we felt that we had no experience in kind of scaling up companies, or how all these digital WHU rocket internet thing works, financing around ABCD. We didn't know that. We felt that we get a loan and we have to repay this, and there's no, either we make it with that money or we fail. So that was the approach, and finally, after some months in Hennigsdorf, Sven realized that he doesn't really like staying away from his family. He lived in Hamburg and in Hennigsdorf in an ETAP hotel during the week, and that maybe like fighting airlines is not his cup of tea, his business, that he wanted to become a professor. So he left. So I was kind of alone in Hennigsdorf. And since the airline kind of, although we sued them 5,000 times, they didn't pay it. We had all these cases pending in court, but they didn't pay. So we were losing 80,000 euros a month, and we still had 180,000 euros on the bank account. So that was kind of a tricky situation, and I wasn't really super confident whether this will work out. Plus, kind of the airlines were attacking the very core of our business model. Basically, they said the air passenger rights regulation is infringing international law, and it has to be annullated. It should be declared void by the European Court of Justice. And we were awaiting this decision from the European Court of Justice, and that was October 2012, 18 months into this venture. And that decision really could have gone either way. And I wouldn't stand here, that would have gone the other way, but it went good. So they said that the regulation is working, and that kind of really was a game changer to our business, because the airline realized we won't go away, this regulation will stand. And suddenly they were losing all these cases that were blocked in court. They realized it's getting expensive for them because of the loser pays principle in German law. And yeah, suddenly from minus 180,000 euros per month, we turned into 4 months to plus 100,000 euros a month, like profit on March 2013. And that was kind of the moment where we became profitable, and we are profitable since then. And that was kind of our way of profitable growth. And we are now, we're now 140 people. We have 5 offices in Europe. We started some other ventures in labor law beyond flight, and some people say that we are We have pioneered the space of legal tech a little bit in Germany, and yeah, that's basically how we did it. So, yeah, and one more thing, Sven left, as I said, but then 2015 he came back, basically with a company called MyRide, which is very similar to Flightright, and they now became kind of the biggest company against Volkswagen in the Dieselgate scandal, plus against the truck cartel, and they're claiming more than 1 billion damages at the moment against these companies. They're like the, I think, second biggest or the biggest company now in that legal tech space. So that's the story. Thank you very much for listening.
So, any questions? There we go. Yes.
Hi. So you said that if you lose the case, the customer doesn't pay any money.
Yes.
But if you win, how much of a percentage do you take?
We take a cut of the compensation, which is between 20% and 30%. So depending on the airline and the situation.
I'm trying to understand the actual IT behind it. And it's like I understand that there's some legal stuff, and there needs to be lawyers. There needs to be like, what is the process of someone claiming something, and like how does it go to court, and like just trying to understand the process. The
IT process or the process? Yeah, okay. Well, basically we just get the data. It's the same as if you book a flight. It's online, you sign it, it's digital. And then we use that data to write a letter to the airline, which is a request of payment saying we are authorized by Mrs. XYZ, and she was on your flight with that booking number, and according to the regulation, she's entitled to whatever, 400 euros, and please pay us within 10 days. And nowadays, a lot of airlines pay, some not so often, like Ryanair, for instance. And then we have quite a sophisticated, partially AI-based algorithms to really assess the risk, because if we lose the case in court, we are paying, and it's quite expensive to lose a case in court. So we're trying to really manage the risk, and if we see there's a good chance, we go to court, and we are doing this in 8 countries, European-wide. We have, 100 lawyers, specialized lawyers, and yeah, we're doing this quite often. I think we've sued them. Yeah, but I think all the intelligence is with us. So I think the lawyers are more like really, they're doing what we're telling them. Yeah, yeah.
Hi. So you do decline some customers if you see the success rate is too low, or some potential customers.
We have a lot of touch points in the process where we kind of either decline or say we're not going any further. So that starts at our front end. For instance, if you have a flight delay of 4 hours and you're flying inbound Europe with a non-European airline like Delta Airlines from New York to Frankfurt, we would just on our front end decline your case because we know it's not eligible under the regulation. But then we use a lot of where kind of that goes through that very, very straightforward, hard filter. Then we, in most of the cases, we really write to the airline and see how they are reacting. And if they deny the case, then then a lot of different processes go on and see what we can do, how we can leverage that, and then go.
And to make sure you're being paid, so you ask the the flight agency to pay you.
The
and
airline.
then you pay the customer. The airline is paying you, so that you are sure that the customer is not all right. Last question: are you still sailing with Sven?
Actually, you don't have to. No. We haven't sailed in the last couple of years, but I think because both of us didn't have really the time to do a lot of racing, but we're planning to do this in the future again.
Thank you. At the moment where you didn't know what the decision of the European Court would be and you lost your co-founder, how did you decide to keep going, or what was the thing which made you decide to keep on?
I think it's a bit of like the sportsmanship, like, you know, a game is not over until it's over.
Okay,
or
cool.
a race, or however you want to call it.
So if you decide to go to court because the airline is not paying, what is the percentage of the cases you lose or the cases you win? So how good is your algorithm to predict that?
So we really, it's kind of airline, it's airline based, it's kind of country based, so that it's very really variable, and also the ratios are totally different from airline to airline. But I would say we are winning more or less in the area of 95%, 98%.
Hi, one question from my side. How did you manage in the beginning in the customer journey, keeping in mind that courts, or when you're dealing with courts, take much more time than actually the customer expectation is? He signs up and probably wants to have an answer in a few days, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. I think you gave the answer. It's managing the customer expectation. You know, if the customer believes, "Where's my money?" then we tell, "Look, this is in a court procedure. This is out of our control." It's Italy, for instance. You know, Italian courts, they really take their time, and then people understand, and the ones who don't understand, you know, they call us. Italians call a lot, and then we, you know, speak a lot to them on the phone.
Hi. Do you think that with submitting a collective claim in court, that you're more successful getting something out of the airline than rather than an individual trying to claim their money back from the airline?
Yeah, if you mean by collective claim that we are claiming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we won five European Court of Justice decisions on our own because we saw there's a problem and we really brought it up. And there's no company that has sued as often, has sued as consequently as we are. So we really, I think, builded a brand kind of vis-a-vis the airline. So they respect us for what we're doing. And we really see that people are coming, that the same people, you know, they write to an airline and they reject, and then they come via us and they pay. And sometimes even airline call centers say if you want the money, you have to go to Flightright.
Yes, I mean, from experience, it took me 2 years to get money back, and about 16 letters to the CEO, and in the end I did go to a company in the UK who does something similar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering kind of for you what your personal definition of bootstrapping is, because to me it sounded like your company really kind of took off after the VC, or after the angel investment and after the grants from Brandenburg.
Okay, I think at least, I mean, there are different ways. I mean, at least we had the courage to pursue an idea and to finance it over more than, I think, 18 months. So from my personal definition, I think we bootstrapped that. But back then I didn't even know that word. But yes, if you mean that we didn't bootstrap all the way because we took on some money, which we repaid, but still. So, but I think compared to our size as a company and compared to other companies that size in Berlin, we are rather on the end of having taken on quite little money to reach that stage of growth or maturity, I would say.
I just have the question regarding the German Deutsche Bahn, yes. Because Flightright is a good concept for the customer, but regarding the trains, is the the customer size is very low, isn't that? Or why is it like that?
The customer, the ticket size, or
no, if you're like 6 hours late, you get 25% of your ticket, even if you have a ticket.
No, I think you get 100%, but it's still low. I think if you're
you don't get 100.
No?
I just had it. No, I just had it.
Okay, well, at least, yeah. I mean, we were looking into that, of course, and it still can happen that we will do this to be more comprehensive. But I think Deutsche Bahn is they are paying and we can they pay if you want. You know, you get these forms and you can write them, so they're not kind of unlike airlines, which are really trying to do everything that they can do to not pay. The Deutsche Bahn, they're paying. It's just a convenience issue. You know, you have to fill in this form and so on. So, and we cannot change the regulation for the Bahn to align it with the air passenger rights regulation, which is more attractive to passengers.
When you say you win about like 90% of the cases, there must be the trend probably that the airlines will notice, hey, we're losing all the cases, so why don't we just pay the money directly? And I mean, it should, I would think that in a law system, if it's your right, you don't necessarily need a startup to give you that right. So don't you think like in maybe in 5 years, the airlines will say, you don't need to go to Flightright because we will lose anyways against them, so you will get it, because if you win 90%, why would they fight if it's the right anyways?
Well, I don't think that airlines that this turning point will come, because the awareness level, I mean, like, I don't know how many people here know about the air passenger rights regulation, but the awareness level is still in the area of 20-30%. So if they do what you described, like automatically pay, then this would go up to 100%, and it wouldn't, the cost for the airline would be much higher. And I see your point saying that, you know, in an ideal world, that if you have a right on paper, people should freely follow the rules, but I don't think we have this world.
Yeah, true.
So there's a couple of competitors in this space, I would say, for a pretty niche thing of just flight compensation.
Yeah.
So in terms of online marketing specifically, what is one interesting strategy that Flightright is doing to sort of get the brand and make sure that people come to you instead of other competitors?
I think that what really helps us is that we somehow became the category leader for that space. So but because of that, we get a lot of PR, which kind of really feeds the Google algorithm in a positive way, which kind of then makes us staying on top of that thing, which gives us more traffic, so we can more A/B test. We can have a little bit like, you know, the richer getting richer a little bit, but I totally agree that there's like the competition is crazy, became crazy. I mean, we were number one, and we were kind of sleeping around for some years, and suddenly we woke up and we had like 50 competitors, Y Combinator funded, and so on. So it was hard to kind of keep and maintain the position that we had.
Hi, if I understood it right, I'm here. To the right, right. Here you go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
If I understood it right, you had like 2 months left until you got bankrupt. You know, you have great idea and you have running cost, fixed cost, variable cost. How do you feel, or how did you feel, and how did you compensate the pressure?
Good question. I just realized that after we knew it worked out, that we had a kind of we had a party to open up our new office, and that really got wild. So it definitely was a big relief, kind of realizing after that kind of we can really become a real company, and that from a 2 years uphill battle, you know, it felt we can go down now. But yeah, it was it was tough times, but I don't know. We just always kept moving forward, and it was out of our control. I mean, if the European Court of Justice decides that way, then that's life. No special experience, but yeah, it felt good that it worked out. It still feels good.
Thanks a lot. I know you guys have a bunch of other questions, but you can also come up to Philipp and ask him more. And I'll end this with this question. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Connie. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. If you have any questions about the family, if you're starting a startup, come talk to me. You can stay a bit here, have more cookies and drinks, and hope to see you soon again. Thank you.
Que la famille.